Have you ever walked away from a situation knowing deep down you should have spoken up? Have you ever smiled when you wanted to cry, agreed when you wanted to say no, or stayed silent just to keep the peace? If so, you are not alone. Many people are afraid of conflict. We're taught that being nice is better than being honest. But here is the truth. Avoiding conflict is not peace. It's prison. If you want to be free, you must stop being afraid of conflict. Let's talk about why fear of conflict holds us back and how to build the strength to face it, not with hate, but with power, courage, and calm. This is not about starting fights. It's about ending the war inside yourself. It's about standing strong when life, people, or even your own mind pushes you down. 1. The hidden cost of avoiding conflict. From a young age, many of us are taught one simple lesson: avoid conflict. We are told to be good, to smile, to not raise our voice, and to stay calm even when we are hurt or angry. Parents, teachers, and society often tell us that being peaceful means avoiding arguments, not expressing strong opinions, and always being polite. On the surface, this sounds like good advice. After all, who wants to be known as a troublemaker? But the truth is, when you always avoid conflict, you also avoid something much more important: growth, freedom, and self-respect. You begin to live for the comfort of others, not for the truth inside your heart. And slowly, without even realizing it, you lose your ability to stand up for yourself. In the beginning, it may feel like the right thing to do. You say yes when someone asks for something, even when you're tired. You stay quiet when someone is rude, just to avoid drama. You smile when someone disrespects you, hoping they will stop on their own. You keep your real feelings hidden because you don't want anyone to be upset. It feels like you're choosing peace. But in reality, you're choosing silence over strength. Avoiding conflict may make others feel good, but it often makes you feel small. You begin to feel like your voice doesn't matter, like your opinions don't count, like your needs are not as important as keeping others happy. This is not peace. This is a quiet kind of prison, one you build around yourself with every moment you choose fear over truth. And the cost of this silent prison is very high. When you keep avoiding conflict, you begin to feel anxious. You worry about what others think. You wonder if you're being used, or if people even respect you. You start to feel resentment toward those who take advantage of your silence. And worst of all, you feel regret, because deep down, you know you should have spoken up, but you didn't. You also begin to lose trust in yourself. Every time you lie and say, "I'm fine," when you're not. Every time you smile when you want to cry. Every time you let someone cross your boundaries, you chip away at your own self-worth. And little by little, you forget who you are. You are not here to be silent. You are not here to be used. You are not here to make everyone else comfortable while you suffer inside. You are here to live your truth. And sometimes, that truth will make people uncomfortable. That's okay. You don't have to be loud or aggressive to stand up for yourself. You just have to be honest. You just have to choose truth over fear. Because in the end, the cost of peace without honesty is too high. True peace comes when you are no longer afraid to be yourself, even when it causes conflict. True freedom begins the moment you decide your voice matters. And it does. 2. Conflict is not the enemy. Fear is. Conflict is not something we can escape. It's part of everyday life. Whether you're with family, at work, in school, or simply walking through life, You will face moments where people disagree with you, challenge you, or treat you unfairly. That's normal. That's human. Every strong relationship, every great leader, every successful journey, behind all of them is some form of conflict that had to be faced, not avoided. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to admit. Conflict is not the real enemy. The real enemy is fear. Fear of conflict is what stops people from living freely. Fear makes you avoid the hard conversations. It makes you swallow your words, fake a smile, and stay silent when something needs to be said. Fear tells you, if you speak up, they won't like you. If you push back, things will fall apart. If you say no, you'll lose them. But think about this. How many times have you stayed quiet just to keep the peace, yet felt broken inside? How many times have you walked away from a moment of truth because fear told you to? You wanted to speak up, but your voice froze. You wanted to set a boundary, but you felt too weak. That's not because you're not brave. It's because fear has been lying to you. Fear whispers lies in your ear. It says, don't rock the boat. But sometimes you need to rock the boat. Because if you don't, it will sink with you inside. Avoiding conflict may feel safe in the moment, but it's dangerous in the long run. It teaches others that your silence is permission. It teaches you that your voice doesn't matter. But something powerful happens when you begin to face conflict, not with anger, but with clarity and calm. You stop being a prisoner of fear. You stop running from hard things. You stop apologizing for who you are. You become someone who stands tall, even when the wind blows. You become someone who is free. Freedom doesn't come from being liked by everyone. Freedom doesn't come from being the quiet one in the room. Freedom comes from being honest, brave, and real, even when it's uncomfortable. When you can look someone in the eye and calmly say, that doesn't work for me. Or, please don't speak to me like that. Or, I disagree. That's when you know fear no longer controls you. You don't have to fear conflict. Conflict is not war. Conflict is just a sign that something needs to change. And you, with calm words and clear thinking, can be the one who brings that change. Not through yelling, not through hate, but through strength and truth. The next time fear tells you to back down, take a deep breath and remember this. Fear is not your master. You were not born to be silent. You were born to be free. And freedom starts the moment you stop fearing conflict and start standing in your truth. 3. Stand up, even if your voice shakes. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to shout to be heard. And you don't need a fight to stand your ground. You just need to speak, even if your voice shakes. Speaking up can be scary, especially if you've been quiet for a long time. Maybe you're used to staying silent to avoid arguments. Maybe you've convinced yourself that your feelings don't matter, or that it's better to let things go. Maybe you've smiled through pain, laughed to hide hurt, or nodded when deep inside you were screaming, no. If this sounds familiar, know this. You are not weak. You're just tired of carrying pain that was never meant to be yours. But here's the truth. You don't have to live this way anymore. You can decide right now to make a change. Not by becoming angry or aggressive, but by choosing firmness, clarity, and self-respect. Standing up for yourself doesn't mean creating drama. It doesn't mean attacking others. It means calmly and clearly expressing your truth. It's saying, this doesn't work for me. I feel uncomfortable when you say that. I need something different. You don't have to shout, You don't have to explain every detail. You don't need anyone's permission to protect your peace. It might feel uncomfortable the first few times. Your voice may tremble. Your heart may race. You may worry what the other person will think. But do it anyway. Because every time you speak up, you send a powerful message. To yourself. You tell yourself, I matter. My feelings are real. My needs are important. At first, it might feel like climbing a mountain. But with each small step, you become stronger. The more you speak your truth, the more confident you become. You begin to realize that the fear you felt was just a shadow, powerful only when you stayed silent. Once you face it, it starts to disappear. And something beautiful happens. People start treating you differently. They begin to see that you have boundaries. They begin to understand that you are not someone who can be pushed around. You may lose a few people who preferred the version of you that stayed quiet. But you will gain something far more important: self-respect. Your peace is precious. Your heart deserves protection. You were not created to be walked on or ignored. You were meant to stand tall, even if your legs shake. You were meant to speak truth, even if your voice cracks. And with time, your voice won't shake anymore. It will be strong, steady, and sure, because it's built on truth. So when the moment comes, don't run, don't hide, don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Stand up, speak up, even if it's hard, even if it's awkward, even if you're afraid. Because every time you do, you grow a little more into the person you were always meant to be: brave, honest, and free. 4. People will test you. Let them. There's a powerful truth that many people don't talk about, but once you understand it, your whole life begins to change. People will test you, and that's okay. Yes, people will push your limits. They will test your patience, your kindness, and your boundaries. Some will try to guilt you, control you, or make you feel like you're a bad person just because you didn't give them what they wanted. They may use silence, anger, or emotional tricks to make you feel small. But here's what you need to remember. That's not your fault. That's not your responsibility. That's not your problem. Your only job in life is not to keep everyone happy. Your job is to be real, to be honest, and to protect your peace. If being real upsets someone, it reveals more about them than it does about you. People who truly care about you will respect your limits. People who don't will complain, manipulate, or walk away. And you know what? Let them. Let people test you. Let them push. Let them show you who they really are. This is not a sign of failure. It's a part of life and a part of growth. Every time someone tests you and you stand your ground, you become stronger. Every time you say no and keep your peace, you gain power. You don't become cold or rude, you become clear. It's not easy, especially if you're used to saying yes all the time. Maybe you've been the one who always helps, always listens, always gives, even when you're tired. Maybe you've been afraid to disappoint people, afraid to lose relationships. But what about your relationship with yourself? How long will you ignore your own needs to keep others satisfied? You don't owe your life to anyone who drains your energy. You don't owe your time, your effort, or your attention to people who don't respect your boundaries. Just because someone asks doesn't mean you have to say yes. Just because someone is angry doesn't mean you did something wrong. You have the right to choose yourself. Some people will leave when you stop being a people pleaser. And that's not a loss, it's a blessing. Because real friends, real supporters, real love, those things never require you to be small. They never ask you to betray yourself. If someone can't handle your boundaries, then they were only comfortable with your silence, not your truth. Let them test you. Let them react. Let them go if they must. You're not here to shrink for anyone. You're here to live fully, freely, and truthfully. Your freedom is worth more than fake peace. Your happiness is worth more than fake friendships. You deserve a life where you can be you, without fear, without guilt, without shame. So the next time someone tries to test you, smile gently and stand firm. Let them see that the old version of you, the one who stayed quiet, gave too much, and broke inside, is gone. You're not afraid anymore. You're free. 5. You can disagree without being disrespectful. Many people believe that if you disagree with someone, it will lead to a fight. They think conflict means shouting, slamming doors, or saying hurtful things. But that's not true. You can disagree without being disrespectful. You can say no without yelling. You can share your truth without hurting anyone. You can walk away without burning bridges. This is real power, not the power to control others, but the power to stay calm, clear, and respectful even when things get hard. One of the most dangerous beliefs we carry is that keeping the peace means staying silent. But fake peace, peace that hides the truth, is not peace at all. It's fear. It's the fear of upsetting others, the fear of being judged, the fear of rejection. And that fear keeps many people trapped in unhealthy conversations and relationships. But what if you learned that conflict can actually be healthy? What if you understood that speaking up is not about being rude, but about being honest? Imagine this. Someone says something that goes against your values. Instead of staying silent, you calmly say, "I see it differently." That's it. No shouting, no anger, just truth. Or, someone pressures you to do something you don't want to do. Instead of giving in, you say, "I'm not comfortable with that." These are small words, but they are filled with strength. Real strength is quiet. Real strength is calm. It's not about how loud you can be. It's about how clearly you can speak while keeping your peace. Strong people don't try to dominate a room. They don't need to win every argument. Instead, they respond instead of reacting. They take a breath. They choose their words. They stay grounded even in the middle of tension. When you stop fearing conflict, you stop overreacting. You begin to understand that not every disagreement is a threat. Some are opportunities to grow, to learn, to build better connections. And some are signals that something needs to change or that someone does not belong in your inner circle. Start small. Practice saying no. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just say, "No, thank you," or "That doesn't work for me." Practice sharing your opinion, even if it's different. You don't have to shout to be heard. Just speak with calm confidence. And practice walking away when people try to drag you into drama. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. Not every battle is worth your energy. You don't need to fight about everything. But when something truly matters to you, your values, your boundaries, your well-being, stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely and never fear them. Because when you stay calm, honest, and respectful, you protect not only yourself but also the dignity of the conversation. You can be kind and firm. You can be gentle and strong. And when you master this, you become the kind of person who brings peace without pretending. A person who leads with truth, not fear. 6. Conflict builds character and confidence. Do you want to be stronger? Do you want to walk into a room with confidence? Do you want people to respect you? Not because you're loud, but because you're sure of yourself? Then listen closely. Don't run from conflict. Learn from it. Conflict is not just a problem to avoid. It is a powerful teacher. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to make choices, to speak truth, and to face the things that scare you. It might not feel good in the moment, but conflict is what helps you grow into the person you're meant to be. Every time you face a hard situation with courage, you learn something about yourself. You learn what you believe in. You learn what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not. You start to trust your gut. You begin to realize, I can handle this. I don't have to run. I don't have to hide. That's where real confidence begins. Confidence isn't about never being afraid. It's about facing fear anyway. It's not about having all the answers. It's about knowing, even if this is hard, I'll figure it out. Even if I make mistakes, I'll grow from them. Conflict gives you this kind of confidence, not through easy days, but through difficult moments that test your spirit. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem strong, calm, and respected. They didn't get that way by avoiding trouble. They went through things. They've had to speak up when it was risky. They've had to say no when it was uncomfortable. They've had to walk away from people or situations that didn't serve their peace. They've had to stand alone. They weren't born brave. They became brave. Through pain, through pressure, through practice. You can become brave too. You don't have to let conflict break you. You can let it build you. Let it shape you, not into someone cold or angry, but into someone clear, wise, and strong. When you go through a tough conversation and come out the other side still standing, you realize, I'm stronger than I thought. That experience stays with you. It becomes part of your character. It becomes part of your confidence. And little by little, you stop fearing people's opinions. You stop worrying about being liked all the time. You stop second-guessing yourself because you faced the fire and you didn't run. You will still feel nervous sometimes. You may still shake when you speak your truth. That's okay. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in the face of it. Keep showing up. Keep choosing honesty. Keep setting boundaries. Keep learning through conflict. Because each time you do, you become more of your true self. Someone who is not controlled by fear. Someone who knows their worth. Someone who stands tall not because life is easy, but because they've walked through difficulty and grown stronger. Let conflict be your teacher. Let it sharpen your mind. Let it strengthen your heart. Let it build the confident, powerful, and peaceful version of you that the world is waiting to see. 7. Stop trying to keep the peace that destroys you. So many people walk through life feeling tired, not because of physical work, but because they are emotionally and mentally exhausted. They are tired from pretending, tired from hiding, tired from constantly trying to keep the peace. But here's the hard truth. If keeping the peace means destroying yourself, then it's not peace. It's a prison. Peace is not silence at the cost of your soul. Peace is not shrinking yourself so others feel comfortable. Peace is not avoiding your truth so that no one gets upset. That's not peace. That's fear. That's control. That's self-betrayal. When you're always saying yes to things that make you feel no inside, you lose touch with who you are. When you avoid conflict by staying quiet, Even when your heart is screaming, you start to disappear. You smile on the outside, but inside you feel angry, empty, and frustrated. You keep the peace, but you lose yourself. And what is the price of that false peace? Your joy, your confidence, your sense of freedom. You become anxious. You start to question your own feelings. You feel invisible, even in a room full of people. And the worst part is, the people around you don't even know, because they only see the version of you that keeps things easy for them. But peace without truth is not peace. It's just pretending. Real peace comes from honesty. Real peace is when your words match your heart, when you no longer hide behind fake smiles, when you stop saying, "I'm fine," just to avoid a conversation, when you speak up, not to argue, but to be real. That kind of peace is strong. It cannot be shaken by others because it's built on truth, not fear. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need to be everyone's favorite. You don't need to be known as the nice one if that label is killing your spirit. What you need is to be at peace with yourself. That means learning to say no without guilt. That means setting boundaries, even when others push back. That means choosing discomfort today so you can have true freedom tomorrow. Yes, it's hard. Yes, some people will be disappointed. But the people who love you for who you truly are will stay. And those who only loved your silence were never really loving you. They were loving your compliance. You were not born to please everyone. You were born to live fully, freely, and truthfully. And the path to that kind of life begins when you stop running from conflict. When you stop pretending everything is fine. When you stop choosing peace that poisons your soul. Instead, choose truth, even when it's messy. Choose honesty, even when it's scary. Choose yourself, even when it's unpopular. Because when you start living in truth, something beautiful happens. The weight on your shoulders gets lighter. The voice inside you grows louder. And the peace you feel, it's not fake, it's real. It's the kind of peace that fills your chest with pride because you know you're no longer hiding. You are living fully, and that's the only peace worth keeping. 8. The world respects the strong, not the silent. Let's be honest. The world does not respect weakness. It does not reward silence. It does not admire those who stay quiet while their hearts scream for change. In this world, strength speaks louder than silence. Confidence commands more respect than fear. The truth is harsh, but powerful. The world listens to those who dare to speak, not those who always stay silent. If you always back down, if you never speak your truth, if you keep waiting for others to notice your pain or respect your boundaries, you will wait a long time. Respect does not come to those who hide. It comes to those who show up with courage, with honesty, and with clarity. You have a voice. Use it. Not to yell, not to argue, but to stand firm. You have a mind. Speak it. Not to control others, but to express what matters to you. You have a life. Protect it. Not by avoiding conflict, but by choosing truth over comfort. Because your silence will not save you, but your strength will. You may be afraid that if you speak up, people will dislike you. And yes, some might. You may fear that if you say no, people will leave. And yes, some will. But ask yourself this: is your life worth living in fear? Is your truth worth hiding just to make others happy? Is your peace worth sacrificing just to be liked? Being liked is not the goal. Being respected is. And respect is not something you beg for. It's something you build. It's something you earn by standing tall when it would be easier to shrink, by telling the truth when lying would feel safer, by keeping your dignity, even when others try to take it from you. It's okay to say what you need. It's okay to disappoint people who expected you to stay small. It's okay to walk alone for a while, if that walk leads you to self-respect. You don't need everyone to agree with you. You don't need everyone to approve of you. You just need to be honest with yourself. And when you are, the right people will start to see you clearly, not as someone weak or difficult, but as someone who knows who they are. The world may not always agree with you, but they will learn to respect you the moment you stop being afraid of conflict. Remember, silence is not strength. Silence is not peace. Silence is not self-respect. Silence, when it's used to hide your truth, is simply fear in disguise. You were not given a voice to stay quiet. You were not given a mind to stay confused. You were not given a life to live small. You are here to grow, to express, to live boldly. And that journey begins when you realize this simple truth. Strength is more important than comfort. Respect is more powerful than approval. And truth is more valuable than fake peace. Speak with courage. Act with confidence. And let the world see your strength. Not because you shouted, but because you stood up. The world respects the strong. Let that strength come from being real, being kind, and being unafraid. 9. Freedom is on the other side of fear. Fear is powerful. It whispers in your ear, holds you back, and makes you question yourself. And when it comes to conflict, fear becomes even louder. It tells you, don't say that. Don't speak up. Don't upset anyone. It tries to convince you that conflict is dangerous, that if you stand your ground, something terrible will happen. But here's the truth. Fear is a liar. Fear tells you that if you speak your truth, people will leave you, that you'll lose your job, your friends, your peace. But it never talks about what you lose by staying silent. It never tells you that when you hide from conflict, you also hide from your power. You were not born to be afraid. Look at children. They speak freely. They ask questions. They tell you when something doesn't feel right. But as we grow older, many of us are taught to stay quiet, to be polite, to avoid trouble. And slowly, we forget our own strength. But deep inside you, that strength is still there. You are stronger than you think. You don't have to let fear control you. You don't have to stay quiet to stay safe. In fact, true safety, true peace, comes from facing your fear, not running from it. Yes, conflict can be uncomfortable. Speaking up can feel scary. Your voice might shake. Your hands might tremble. But guess what? That's okay. Growth always feels uncomfortable at first. It's supposed to. That's how you know it's working. That's how you know you're stepping out of fear and into freedom. And yes, you might lose some things along the way. Some people might not like the new, confident version of you. Some relationships may fade. But what you gain will be far more important. Self-respect, peace, confidence, and personal freedom. Freedom is not about running away from hard things. It's about walking straight through them and realizing they didn't have the power to break you. The fear of conflict only has power as long as you avoid it. The moment you face it with honesty and calm, you take back your power. You begin to trust yourself again. You stop doubting every decision. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop living a life that pleases everyone else but leaves you feeling empty. When you finally face the conflict you've been avoiding, you realize something amazing. It wasn't as scary as you thought. The world didn't end. You didn't fall apart. In fact, you felt stronger, more grounded, more alive. And that's when freedom begins. Not when everything is easy, not when everyone agrees with you, but when you stop letting fear run your life. When you take that first brave step and say, "This is who I am. This is what I need. This is what I will no longer accept." That is the moment you become free. Not just on the outside, but in your heart and mind. Because fear loses its grip the moment you walk through it. On the other side of fear, there is freedom. Go get it. 10. Final words. Step into your power. You have one life. One chance to live fully, freely, and truthfully. It's easy to forget this when you're caught in the struggle to please everyone around you. But here's the truth. If you spend your life trying to make people who don't truly value you happy, you lose yourself in the process. You lose your voice. You lose your peace. You lose your freedom. This life is too short to hide from the moments that challenge you. Those moments that scare you but have the power to grow you into a stronger, wiser person. Avoiding conflict may feel safe now, but it costs you more than you realize. It costs you your courage. It costs you your happiness. It costs you your freedom to be yourself. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to be in conflict with everyone. But there is one battle you cannot avoid. The battle with yourself. The battle to stop running away from the hard truths. The battle to stop being afraid of your own power. You must speak your truth. Even if your voice trembles. Even if your hands shake. Even if others don't understand at first. Speak, because silence only gives your power away. It lets fear take the lead. And fear is the enemy of freedom. Stand up. Stand for yourself. Stand for your peace, your values, your boundaries. You are not weak for standing firm. You are not selfish for protecting your heart. You are not rude for saying no when it's right for you. You are not unkind for walking away from things or people that drain your energy. Set boundaries. This is how you protect your peace. Boundaries are not walls to shut others out. They are lines that say, "This is where I stop. This is where I begin." When you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You show yourself respect, and others will follow. Walk away when needed. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to let go. Letting go doesn't mean failure. It means you choose yourself over chaos, peace over drama, truth over false comfort. Walking away opens space for new, better things to come. Say no when it's right. Saying no is a powerful act of self-love. It means you value your time, your energy, and your soul. It means you know your limits and you respect them. Say yes when it's true. Say yes to the things that lift you up, that make you happy, that feed your soul. Say yes to your dreams, to your growth, to your life. You are not weak for wanting peace. In fact, peace is the greatest strength. But peace without truth is a lie. True peace is built on courage. True peace is protected by honesty. True peace means you live your life fully, without fear, without hiding, without pretending. This is your time to rise, to step into your power, to stop being afraid of conflict, because the moment you stop fearing it, you start truly living. You start living for you, not for others' approval, not for fake peace, but for real freedom. Remember, you have the power to change your life today. You have the courage to face conflict and grow from it. You have the strength to speak up, to set boundaries, and to protect your peace. You have the right to be free. free from fear, free from silence, free to be your true self. So take a deep breath. Step forward. Speak your truth. Stand tall and live your life on your terms. Because when you do, you don't just survive. You thrive. This is your life, your power, your freedom. Claim it now.